Hi, it's Ian here. Welcome to another 5-minute marketing tip. In this week's tip and for the next few weeks, we're going to be concentrating on lead generation. So in other words, that vital first contact with potential clients. Today, I'm going to share with you the ACE framework for generating leads, and then I'm going to expand on that in future videos and blog posts and emails. So see you after the break. Hi, welcome back. So first of all, what do we mean by a lead? Well, for me, the best definition of a lead is initial contact with a potential client in a way that you can follow up on. So all three elements there are important. So firstly, it's initial contact. So buying an email list or a list of mailing addresses is not getting leads because those people have never met you. They've never had any contact with you. They're highly unlikely to turn into anything. So don't count them as leads yet. Second thing is that they need to be potential clients. It's no good getting loads of visitors to your website or going out to networking events and meeting a whole bunch of people if none of them can become real clients for you. The third thing is vital too, again, and it's often overlooked. You have to connect with them in a way that allows you to follow up. So again, it's no use meeting with people face to face if you don't get their business card and permission to have a follow-up phone call or an email with them. It's no good getting people to come to your website if they don't sign up for your emails or some other mechanism where you can get back in touch with them afterwards and follow up, because as I'm sure you know, 95% of the time, people coming to your website or you initially meet them, they won't be ready to buy then and there. So you need to be following up. You need to be having multiple interactions with them and building credibility and trust over time. So a lead is only really a lead if you are able to follow up, if you have permission to follow up. Now that follow up these days, if it's online, it has always traditionally been signing up for your emails, but these days it could also be signing up and joining a group that you have on Facebook or LinkedIn, or it could even be that they come to your website and they get pixeled so that you can retarget them with Facebook advertising or Google AdWords advertising. So whatever it is, you need a way of following up. Now, I mentioned the ACE method, and many thanks to my good friend Lee Duncan for coming up with the acronym. So ACE stands for first, getting the attention of a potential client, secondly, connecting with them, and thirdly, engaging with them. So let's go through all those key steps. So firstly, you've got to get the attention of your potential clients. Whether you're in the face-to-face world or whether you're online, people are not generally looking out to connect with you, to become leads. So you need to get their attention. Now, one way of getting people's attention is to shout, but typically shouting either in the form of advertising that just is big and bold and tries to grab people's attention but doesn't add any value, or you throw a bunch of kind of spam at them in groups and stuff like that. That typically doesn't work. You get people's attention, but it doesn't turn into anything productive afterwards. When they realize you've got nothing of value to add, their attention turns elsewhere. The best way to get people's attention is through value, and it's taking advantage of something known by psychologists as the cocktail party effect. The cocktail party effect is basically that if you're in a kind of crowded room and there are lots of conversations going on, one of our abilities as human beings is to really zone in and tune in to specific conversations and filter out all the rest. And typically we zoom in on the ones that we find interesting. That might be because we hear our name being mentioned, or the conversation is something particularly, a piece of particularly juicy gossip, or it's a topic we're really interested in. And we find our ears tuning into that conversation and ignoring all the other conversations going on around us. Now, the same thing happens with your marketing and with your advertising. If you are able to home in on the things that your ideal clients really care about, so their problems, their challenges, their goals, their aspirations, what they want to achieve, what they're frightened of, things that they really care about, if you are using blog posts or Facebook adverts, if you're doing presentations on that topic, if when you introduce yourself, when you're networking, you're immediately talking about the kind of challenges you help people with, and that's one of the ones that they have, then they will pay attention. You'll get their attention. You're always on safe ground if you're in their world talking about the things that they care about. And that's really what I advise you to think about. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about some tactics for getting people's attention. But the main thing to think about is, what's your strategy? In other words, what are you going to create of value that really addresses a big, important issue that your ideal clients care about? If you can do that, the tactics are much less important. Whether you use Facebook ads or blog posts or you do presentations or whatever, much less important than having something of interest and value to people that's going to get their attention. Second step is to connect. So connecting is that step of getting their email address if they're signing up, getting their business card if you're meeting them face to face, getting them to join a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group if that's the way you're going to be interacting with them. So that's vitally important, because unless they do that, you can't follow up. And then an overlooked step is to engage straight away afterwards. So it's great that they sign up for your emails. It's great that you get their business card if you've met face to face. It's great that they've joined your Facebook group. But if they're not really wowed by the initial emails you send them when you've signed up, if you get their business card but then you don't follow up, you don't call or email them afterwards for weeks, if they join your Facebook group but there's no interaction with them at all, then in the Facebook group they become lurkers. In the real world, they just drift away and don't become active contacts, and they kind of forget about you. On your email list, they gradually pay less and less attention and they unsubscribe. You've got to engage with them early on by sharing valuable information, really interacting with them, asking questions. It's especially true if you're in a service business where you need to build significant credibility and trust and a personal relationship before they'll be ready to buy. You need to engage with them early on. Start as you mean to continue. Get early engagement and you can grow from there. Don't let that initial contact drift away. So we'll be talking about all of those three phases as we go through the next few blog posts and emails and videos I'm going to send, starting with different ways, different tactics of getting people's attention. I'll see you there.